famine had a profound impact on Bengal, causing massive loss of life, widespread suffering, and a lasting legacy of bitterness towards British rule.
Because everything that you have to ever know in the universe is written in one book, people are insecure about that because we know what's written. The question is not whether everybody is like that or not. We're just afraid one day book will play upon us. I will tell you, wherever there is a certain majority, you will see all other things get naturally pushed down, totally, which is not the way this country has operated. I'm telling you, in Tamil Nadu, if I go to certain districts, without asking me, the state provides me security. I say, why? So, Sadhguru, you don't understand, certain communities are saying you are coming and you will convert them into something else which is not their way. So they put police around me. I say, what nonsense, in India, why do I need police around me, for me? They say, that's not the way it is. It happened in Tamil Nadu when I went to Kanyakumari. They put over 300 armed police around me. I said, what the hell is this? I've never asked for security in my life, in Tamil Nadu especially. But they put armed police in a program where there are about 12,000 people, I'm walking up and down the ramp and speaking. These armed men are walking up and down with me. About all the things that have been done during the British era, which is very cruel.
Absolutely.
But if we go to UK now, we don't hate those people. Yes, they have done this to us, we should never forget it. We should never forget it. This has been done to us because this should not be done to us once again. But it does not mean today's generation of English people, we have to hate them.
Correct.
No, that's not it. So the
If
same
they
goes…
could give us the Kohinoor back, that's the least you could have
No,
done.
that is the… that same goes for Islamic invasions. They've done terrible things to us. But we don't have to forget it, we should not forget it. Because
Also, they stayed and became us, Sadhguru.
Huh?
They stayed and became us. There were some invaders who came and looted and left. But for many of the people, such as the emperor who built the Taj Mahal, they are us. They are part of our soil, assimilated into our culture.
Say, I want you to know, if there was no World War II, British also would have stayed. So that doesn't mean that happened because of their love for you.
No, but Sadhguru, they sent everything from here back to England, whereas these people, even whatever they looted, they spent here. There is a difference.
That is because it's another time when there were no ships.
Technical problem, isn't it? No,
There were ships, there were ships.
Transportation issues.
And besides, they had a land route back home to the Fergana Valley, they didn't use it.
It's not easy to go.
But you say, whether they did or not, one should not hate them now and should not build walls around
See,
them now. Is that your message?
See, what I'm saying is, historically, many ugly things have been done by different people.
Quite right.
Ugly things that have happened to us as a nation, we must remember.
Ugly things we've done to ourselves also.
That also is there, that's another aspect.
Right.
What others have done to us, we must remember, but we should not become bitter because this bitterness will destroy us. Why we should remember is so that we don't make the same mistakes and get into the same pit once again. That's very important for me. But at the same time, if today, let's say, UK spoke the same language that it spoke during the colonial era, definitely we will not accept them. Unfortunately, with certain groups of people, they're trying to speak the same language which was historically spoken way back. So this creates a whole lot of confrontation in the society. And this entire misuse of this for democratic purposes, when I say democratic purposes, because it's all a number game, so people are playing this game for last 70 years. So naturally you have kind of brought this little bit of fear in others. Fear means people are seeing what's happening in Iraq and the Islamic State and stuff, what happened in Kashmir. So people think if these numbers increase, this will happen to us also, because it's happened in the past. So I feel if one thing stops, I think this entire little bit of heat going on between communities will die, that is, you don't try to change the dynamics of demographics. Just let it stay this for next 100 years, without anybody trying to increase numbers, you will see everything will level out. This is the only fear. That's why there is reaction.
Just a fear, it's a fear.
So, I was intrigued to hear Sadhguru say that because obviously some of the fear is stoked up. It is stoked, as you yourself said, partly for political purposes.
No.
Unfortunately, there is often a politics of polarization that assumes that whipping up certain sentiments will gather certain votes for a particular community. There is a politics of identity that says, let's promote the interests of our caste alone or our group alone or our faith alone at the expense of others. So I'm certainly not expecting and accepting the political process whatsoever from this. But at the same time, it is not right, it seems to me, to suggest that this is somehow natural. It is actually, no baby is born intolerant. Somebody's teaching that baby its attitudes, its beliefs, whom to like, whom to dislike. And in the same way, I think in our politics, we are allowing some of our leaders to tell us whom to dislike and why, for reasons that in fact are not part of our daily lives. You rightly said in the villages of India, people live side by side and they don't feel any of this hatred and unpleasantness.
Is that a correct
We should extend that
interpretation of
far.
what you meant?
No, because
Not. It's not. You
taking…
got it wrong again.
See, I don't wish to take a political stance because I've never associated myself with any political ideology at any time, not today. So, what I see is, what we are today, in many ways, we are products of history. We cannot completely eliminate it. The British history that you have extensively spoken about, written about, the thing about the British is they exploited you commercially. For them, you were just a resource. They had no other interest in you. They don't care which god you worship, whether you go to your temple or you don't go to your temple.
Is
or
it
what
okay
you do.
that they eat beef?
Huh? I'm sorry?
Is it okay that they eat beef?
If you have a wrong choice of food, it's up to you, what's my problem?
So anybody can eat beef is their choice. Is that what
Of
you're saying?
course.
Okay, of course.
No, what I'm saying is…
That goes against what
No,
a
I will
lot of
come.
people feel.
I'll come to that. We can look at that later. This aspect. But when it comes to these religious invasions that happened, whatever the thought behind that thought you must surrender. You see, if I do something horrible to you today, 10 days later if we meet, at least I must show some regret or remorse in what I have done. When I'm proud of what I have done to you, this is not going to settle, all right? This is what you are expecting. When people are very proud of what they have done to you in the past, now you want it to settle, it's not going to settle. It is just… I'm saying it'll just be an academic debate. It is not going to be a social reality. I'm not interested in any debate unless it's a solution for the problems that we are in.
So what's the solution?
The solution is… the important thing is, you can do whatever you want, but you have no business to tell me what I should do, all right?
And vice versa.
Everywhere. I'm saying for anybody.
Yes, yes.
Essentially, this is this. Because people believe certain things, because everything that you have to ever know in the universe is written in one book, people are insecure about that because we know what's written. The question is not whether everybody is like that or not. We're just afraid one day book will play upon us. So one thing that you have to do is, first thing, whatever the past cruelties that have been done, many things, it's not a simple process.
Right.
See, people have forgotten what has happened in this Delhi, what has happened in one afternoon. One afternoon, 20,000 people were killed in one of these days, three centuries ago. People have not forgotten these things because they know what will happen to them. And what has happened in Kashmir, people have not forgotten. Maybe people try to act like it didn't happen, but it has happened. So,
Well,
if
can
the
I-
demographics don't change, you will see everything will settle down. The thing is, continuously people in a very strategic way trying to change the demographic dynamic. Now people are afraid because they know if the numbers increase, what will happen to them? So just don't do that one thing, you will see all problems will settle, believe me. I know the communities very well. The story is not… the situation is not about what happened. The situation is that there is no sense of remorse or regret about what happened.
You want the lady to regret?
Not the lady. See, that's a totally different… So I think I have a better way of telling that story. That's a…
You have a better way of telling most stories.
No, that's not the point. That is a spiritually significant story, that's a different matter.
Okay.
This is a reality which we are living in, where people who firmly believe their way is the only way to go to heaven, all right? First of all, I'm not interested in going to your heaven, so leave me alone. But you keep on trying to change the demographics, there will be fear. If you think that is an empty fear, then you have to see what's happened. What is happening even now in certain parts of the world, you must see. It is not an empty fear. So I'm saying, whatever you believe, it's your faith.
So you say…
First of all, let me finish this.
Sure.
I feel, the moment you believe something, you are disabling yourself. Because belief essentially for me means you are not straight enough to admit you do not know. As far as I'm concerned, either I know something or I don't know something, that's all there is. Everything that you don't know, you believe, and you want me to believe the same thing? No. So this culture has never imposed anything on anybody because nobody believes anything. We are seekers. Seeker means what? You can be a genuine seeker only when you realize you do not know.
Right.
So, this is of a certain nature. Now in reaction, unfortunately, we also tending to become like that, which is a very sad thing, okay? But at the same time, a society is not made by… till now at least, maybe in future it might. Society is not made by spiritual wisdom. Unfortunately, it's made on the streets, how people react, how they fight, how they defend themselves, what they can preserve, what they cannot preserve. In this is how societies are made still. It's a crude way of doing things, but that is how it's made and that's how it is still now.
But
Till
didn't
we
you
change
just
that-
say earlier that you've traveled around India recently and throughout your life, even as a young man, when you were on a motorbike, people live with each other in complete peace and harmony and without fear, without thinking of the history and without thinking of
Even
numbers.
now it is true.
And Shashi says that
I'm
it
telling
then…
you, even now it is true, except those communities which are kind of little ghettoed, except in those places, everywhere else, even now it is true in this India. Just now, 30 days I've driven across the country.
Right.
Even now it is true. Every kind of people, every kind of community leaders came to me and spoke to me and I spoke to them, all this happens.
Right.
I'm saying, one thing is a whole lot of people, particularly, I'm sorry, political class is trying to exploit the differences, all right?
I think you agree on that. Okay.
I think I agree with Sadhguru. The thing is
No,
that
no,
when
when
you
I
look
say
at…
political class, I don't mean to say every political person is doing it.
course
After all, politics is a dirty
Sadhguru,
job that
don't…
somebody is doing for us because we are not willing to do it.
That's right. So someone like you who has such a major role in society as a Sadhguru, should you and others like you not take on the role of educating people to overcome the fears you mentioned? I mean, the fear of demography is even mathematically an absurd one. 80% of the population is Hindu. How can they be afraid of a small minority of a smaller minority? And what is the demographic calculation by which this number can overcome us? Should we not educate them
I'll
to
tell
leave
you.
their fear behind and say, look, let bygones be bygones, as he said, put that baggage down. You referred to Nadir Shah's attack in Delhi, 1739. I've written about the British attack in Delhi, 1857. But if we can forget the British, let's forget Nadir Shah too.
No, we can forget it. We just have to make sure it doesn't get repeated, that's all. I will tell you what's the fear.
But you're not justifying hate.
I am not
right?
justifying.
Thank
I'm
God.
saying,
Thank God. That's fine.
first and foremost thing is, whatever people have done historically, we don't have to hold it as a reality today.
Correct.
Only thing is, all communities should distance themselves from that historical events. But I will tell you, wherever there is a certain majority, you will see all other things get naturally pushed out, totally, which is not the way this country has operated. I am telling you, in Tamil Nadu, if I go to certain districts, without asking me, the state provides me security. I say, why? So, Sadhguru, you don't understand, certain communities are saying you are coming and you will convert them into something else which is not their way. So they put police around me. I say, what nonsense, in India, why do I need police around me, for me? They say, that's not the way it is. It happened in Tamil Nadu when I went to Kanyakumari. They put over 300 armed police around me. I said, what the hell is this? I've never asked for security in my life, in Tamil Nadu especially. But they put armed police in a program where there are about 12,000 people, I'm walking up and down the ramp and speaking, these armed men are walking up and down with me. See, we must understand one fundamental ethos of Indian psyche. We don't really have a problem what God you worship, because in the same family there are 32 gods and goddesses.
And there is Ishwara Allah Tero Naam.
No, that's okay, but I'm saying even before that.
Yeah.
See, every other form of whatever… I'll tell you one thing, you take one picture of some pious-looking man, usually they must be bearded if it's a man, and take it and give it to one
I'm glad
old…
you didn't use the word God man.
I'll come to that God man, I think I should restructure that one. If you give this picture to an old lady in some village and say, this is a great sage, she will keep it in her puja room and worship without knowing who the hell he is. Do you understand?
It's true.
This is the only culture which does that. So do not destroy that by imposing something forceful, you have to believe this, otherwise you're not this or that. You don't have to believe anything to be in this country, okay? You don't have to believe anything to be a part of this culture because everybody can do their own thing. That is, we know the technology of God making. For every one of us, we made our own God. There's something called as Ishta Devata that you can create your own god or goddess.
That's true.
If you like the tree, you can make the tree into your god. If you like a rock, you can make a rock into your god. This is a phenomena. This is the most wonderful thing because this is a dimension of life which should never be organized. Because the moment it's organized, it becomes something else. So this we realized from ancient times and we made it in such a way it can never be organized. There is a desperate attempt to organize it, but it's not working anyway. You cannot organize it because to organize something you need one particular belief system. There is no particular belief system in this country.
Throughout the history, India experienced several large-scale massacres and atrocities at the hands of both British colonial rulers and various Muslim invaders. Here are few of the most significant incidents in terms of the number of Indian lives lost. Bengal famine of 1943. The Bengal famine of 1943 is one of the most devastating events in Indian history. This famine occurred during World War II and was exacerbated by British wartime policies. The denial policy implemented by the British aimed to prevent Japanese forces from accessing food and transport infrastructure, leading to the destruction of rice stocks and boats. Additionally, wartime inflation and misallocation of resources further worsened the crisis. As a result, between 2 to 3 million people perished due to starvation, malnutrition and disease. The British administration's response was widely criticized for being grossly inadequate and delayed. The famine had a profound impact on Bengal, causing massive loss of life, widespread suffering and a lasting legacy of bitterness towards British rule. Jallianwala Bagh Massacre 1919. The Jallianwala Bagh Massacre is a pivotal event in the history of the Indian independence movement. On April 13, 1919, thousands of unnamed Indians, including women and children, gathered at Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar to peacefully protest against the repressive Revolt Act. Brigadier General Reginald Dyer ordered his troops to open fire on the crowd without warning, resulting in the deaths of approximately 379 people, according to official British reports, though Indian sources suggest much higher numbers. Over 1,000 people were injured. This brutal act of violence shocked the nation and led to widespread outrage and condemnation. The massacre significantly intensified the Indian struggle for independence and underscored the brutal nature of British colonial rule. Timur's invasion of Delhi, 1398. Timur, also known as Tamerlane, invaded India in 1398 with the objective of plundering the wealth of the Delhi Sultanate. His invasion was marked by extreme brutality and mass killings. Timur's forces captured Delhi and conducted a massacre of the city's inhabitants, resulting in the deaths of around 100,000 people, including prisoners who were executed and massacred. The invasion left Delhi in ruins and its population devastated. Timur's campaign caused widespread destruction, leading to long-term socio-economic disruption and contributing to the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. Nader Shah's invasion of Delhi, 1739. Nader Shah, the ruler of Persia, invaded India in 1739 with the aim of seizing its wealth to fund his military campaigns. His forces captured Delhi, leading to the infamous sack of the city. Nader Shah ordered a massacre in which approximately 20,000 to 30,000 people were killed. The invaders looted the city extensively, seizing immense treasures, including the Peacock Throne and the Kohinoor Diamond. The invasion resulted in chaos and devastation in Delhi, marking one of the most traumatic episodes in the city's history. The enormous loss of life and property had a profound impact on the Mughal Empire, accelerating its decline. Conclusion: the British colonial period and various Muslim invasions in India led to some of the most significant and deadly events in the subcontinent's history. These include the Bengal famine of 1943, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Timur's invasion of Delhi, and Nader Shah's sack of Delhi. Each event resulted in substantial loss of life and had profound socio-economic and political impacts. These tragic episodes highlight the severe human cost of foreign domination and the struggles faced by the Indian population under oppressive regimes. The legacies of these events continue to shape India's historical narrative and collective memory.